Welcome to the Dull Docs Archive. The following recording contains the calm, uninterrupted reading of a boring document. Today's reading is the Windows 98 Starts Here End User License Agreement, published in 1999. The reading will begin now. Microsoft Windows 98 Starts Here. End User License Agreement for Microsoft Software. Non-operating system. Important, read carefully. This End-User License Agreement, EULA, is a legal agreement between you, either an individual or a single entity, and the manufacturer, PC manufacturer, or manufacturer, of the computer system or computer system component, hardware, with which you acquired the Microsoft software products identified above or on the product identification card accompanying this EULA or on the product identification label attached to the product package, software, product, or software. If the software product is not accompanied by a new computer system or computer system component, you may not use or copy the software product. The software product includes computer software, the associated media, any Microsoft hardware accompanying the computer software, any printed materials, and any online or electronic documentation. By installing, copying, or otherwise using the software product, you agree to be bound by the terms of this EULA. If you do not agree to the terms of this EULA, manufacturer, Microsoft, corporation, Microsoft, and Microsoft Licensing Incorporated, MSLIP, are unwilling to license the software product to you. In such event, you may not use or copy the software product, and you should promptly contact manufacturer for instructions on return of the products for a refund. Software product license. The software product is protected by copyright laws and international copyright treaties, as well as other intellectual property laws and treaties. The software product is licensed, not sold. The term computer, as used herein, shall mean the hardware, if the hardware is a computer system, or the computer system with which the hardware operates, if the hardware is a computer system component. 1. Grant of license. This EULA grants you the following rights: e-software installation and use. Except as otherwise expressly provided in section of this EULA, you may only install and use one copy of the software product on the computer. SQL Server workstation system installation and use. If the software product is SQL Server workstation system, the following applies to your installation and use of the software product, subject to the restrictions set forth in section 2. For each processor version, defined below, supplied, the software product consists of server software, client software, and development tool components. You may install and use one copy of one processor version of the server software component only on the computer. You may install the client software and development tool components of the software product, regardless of processor version, on any number of your computers, provided there is only one copy of each processor version of each such component in use at any time. Network services. Except as may otherwise be provided below, if the software product documentation indicates that the software product includes functionality that enables the computer to share resources over a network with other computers or workstations. Any number of computers or workstations may access or otherwise utilize the basic network services of software product on the computer. The basic network services are more fully described in the printed materials accompanying the software product and include file and print services and peer web services. Storage/network use. You may also store or install a copy of the computer software portion of the software product on the computer to allow your other computers to use the software product over an internal network and distribute the software product to your other computers over an internal network. However, You must acquire and dedicate a license for the software product. For each computer on which the software product is used or to which it is distributed. A license for the software product may not be shared or used concurrently on different computers. Backup copy. If manufacturer has not included a backup copy of the software product with the computer, you may make a single backup copy of the computer software portion of the software product. You may use the backup copy solely for archival purposes. Backup utility. If the software product includes a Microsoft backup utility, you may use it to make the single backup copy described. After the single backup copy is made, the backup utility will be permanently disabled. 2. Description of other rights and limitations. Speech recognition. If the software product includes a speech recognition component, it should be understood by you that speech recognition is inherently a statistical process, that recognition errors are inherent in the process of speech recognition, that it is your responsibility to provide for handling such errors and to monitor the speech recognition process and correct any errors. Neither manufacturer or its suppliers shall be liable for any damages arising out of errors in the speech recognition process. Application sharing with net meeting conferencing software. The software product may contain technology that enables applications to be shared between two or more computers, even if an application once installed on only one of the computers. You may use this technology with all Microsoft products only for multi-party conferences. For non-Microsoft applications, you should consult the accompanying license agreement or contact the licensor to determine whether application sharing is permitted by the licensor. You must comply with all applicable laws regarding the use of the software product. SQL Server Workstation System. If the software product is SQL Server Workstation System, the following applies to your use of the software product. Open Data Services. The Open Data Services component of the server software is licensed only for use with SQL Server and SQL Server Extended Stored Procedures, and for developing and testing Open Data Services-based software applications. Any other use of the Open Data Services component, such as for general operation of standalone gateways or I1, custom Open Data Services-based applications, requires a separate license even if they are run on the same computer as SQL Server. Runtime software, you have a limited non-exclusive, royalty-free right to reproduce and distribute those DB library, Net library and ODBC files included in Microsoft SQL Server which are required for runtime execution of compiled applications, runtime files, in conjunction with and as a part of your application software product that is created using the Microsoft SQL Server server software application. Provided that a. You comply with the export restrictions in Section 6. b. You do not use Microsoft's or MSLI's name, logo, or trademarks to market your application. C. You include a valid copyright notice in your application. D. If your application contains ODBC files, 1. Your application must operate in conjunction with Microsoft SQL Server, and 2. You agree to distribute all ODBC components specified in the README file in conjunction with your application. E. You do not charge separately for the runtime files. F. You do not modify the runtime files. And G. You agree to indemnify, hold harmless, and defend Microsoft, MSLI manufacturer, and their suppliers from and against any claims or lawsuits, including attorney's fees, that arise or result from the use or distribution of your application. You shall display any patent or proprietary notices on each copy of your applications that contains runtime files, if and as required in the documentation or other materials provided with the software product, or subsequently provided to you by Microsoft, MSLI, or manufacturer. Note on Java support. The software product may contain support for programs written in Java. Java technology is not fault-tolerant and is not designed, manufactured, or intended for use or resale as online control equipment in hazardous environments requiring fail-safe performance, such as in the operation of nuclear facilities, aircraft navigation or communication systems, air traffic control, direct life support machines, or weapons systems, in which the failure of Java technology could lead directly to death, personal injury, or severe physical or environmental damage. Multiple processor version selection. The CD or diskettes on which the software product resides may contain several copies of the software product, each of which is compatible with a different microprocessor architecture, such as the x86 architecture or various RISC architectures, processor versions. You may install and use only one copy of one processor version of the software product on the computer. Language version selection. Manufacturer may have elected to provide you with a selection of language versions for one or more of the Microsoft software products licensed under this EULA. If the software product is included in more than one language version, you are licensed to use only one of the language versions provided. As part of the setup process for the software product, you will be given a one-time option to select a language version. Upon selection, the language version selected by you will be set up on the computer, and the language versions not selected by you will be automatically and permanently deleted from the hard disk of the computer. Limitations on reverse engineering, decompilation, and disassembly. You may not reverse engineer, decompile, or disassemble the software product, except and only to the extent that such activity is expressly permitted by applicable law. Notwithstanding this limitation. Separation of components. The software product is licensed as a single product. Its component parts may not be separated for use on more than one computer. Single computer. The software product is licensed with the hardware as a single integrated product. The software product may only be used with the hardware as set forth in this EULA. Single EULA. The package for the software product may contain multiple versions of this EULA, such as multiple translations and/or multiple media versions, e.g., in the user documentation and in the software. In this case, you are only licensed to use one copy of the software product. The terms of a printed paper EULA which may accompany the software product supersede the terms of any on-screen EULA found within the software product. E-rental. You may not rent, lease, or lend the software product. Software transfer. You may permanently transfer all of your rights under this EULA only as part of a sale or transfer of the hardware, provided you retain no copies. You transfer all of the software product, including all component parts, the media and printed materials, any upgrades, this EULA, and if applicable, the certificates of authenticity, and the recipient agrees to the terms of this EULA. If the software product is an upgrade, any transfer must include all prior versions of the software product. E-termination. Without prejudice to any other rights, Microsoft, MSLI, or manufacturer may terminate your right to use the software product under this EULA if you fail to comply with the terms and conditions of this EULA. In such event, you must destroy all copies of the software product and all of its component parts. 3. Upgrades. If the software product is labeled as an upgrade, you must be properly licensed to use a product identified by Microsoft, MSLI, or manufacturer as being eligible for the upgrade in order to use the software product. Eligible product. For the purpose of upgrade products only, hardware shall mean the computer system or computer system component with which you receive the eligible product. Software product labeled as an upgrade replaces and/or supplements the eligible product which came with the hardware. You may use the resulting upgraded product only in accordance with the terms of this EULA and only with the hardware. 4. Copyright. All title and copyrights in and to the software product, including but not limited to any images, photographs, animations, video, audio, music, text, and applets, incorporated into the software product, the accompanying printed materials and any copies of the software product, are owned by Microsoft, MSLI, or their suppliers. You may not copy the printed materials accompanying the software product. All rights not specifically granted under this EULA are reserved by Microsoft. 5. Software media. You may receive the software product in more than one medium. Regardless of the type or size of medium you receive, you may use only one medium that is appropriate for the computer. You may not use or install the other medium on another computer. You may not loan, rent, lease, or otherwise transfer the other medium to another user, except as part of the permanent transfer as provided above, of the software product. 6. Export restrictions. You agree that neither you nor your customers intend to or will directly or indirectly export or transmit the software product or related documentation and technical data, or 11, your application as described above in Section 2, developed with SQL Server software or process, or service that is the direct product of the software product to any country to which such export or transmission is restricted by any applicable U.S. regulation or statute, without the prior written consent, if required, of the Bureau of Export, Administration of the U.S. Department of Commerce, or such other governmental entity as may have jurisdiction over such export or transmission. If software product is labeled North America only version above, on the product identification card, or on the software product packaging or other written materials, then the following applies. The software product is intended for distribution only in the United States. In Canada, export of the software product from the United States is regulated under EI controls of the Export Administration Regulations. AR 15 CFR 730-744 of the U.S. Commerce Department Bureau of Export Administration BXA. A license is required to export the software product outside the United States or Canada. You agree that you will not directly or indirectly export or re-export the software product, or portions thereof, to any country other than Canada, or to any person, entity, or end user subject to U.S. export restrictions without first obtaining a Commerce Department export license. You warrant and represent that neither the BXA nor any other U.S. federal agency has suspended, revoked, or denied your export privileges. 7. Product support. Product support for the software product is not provided by Microsoft or its subsidiaries. For product support, please refer to manufacturer's support number provided in the documentation for the hardware. Should you have any questions concerning this EULA, or if you desire to contact manufacturer for any other reason, please refer to the address provided in the documentation for the hardware. For the limited warranties and special provisions pertaining to your particular jurisdiction, please refer to the warranties included below or provided with the software product printed materials. X03-46748